Hello and welcome to the Kickoff workshop for FODSI, the Foundations of Data Science Institute. My name is Peter Bartlett. I'm the director of FODSI, and Piotr and I are going to give an overview of the Institute. Piotr is the co-director, and we're very excited about this collaboration. Disappointed, of course, that we can't be hosting this workshop in person. So we're confident it'll be a great workshop, this celebration of the launch of FODSI. There's a really exciting lineup of talks. Let me start by acknowledging the role of the Simons Institute. FODSI at Berkeley is really intertwined with the Simons Institute, and all of the public activities at Berkeley are being organized through Simons. So that's hugely important for us. Big thank you to Jesse Gill, who's done all the organization for this workshop. Jesse, if you want to, hey, here he is. Thanks a lot. So let me start with a little bit of the rationale behind FODSI. So first of all, I better share my screen. How's that looking? Okay. So I guess first of all, why now? Why is now the right time for an institute for the foundations of data science? Well, data science has certainly become the central science for the 21st century, but of course, people have been thinking about the foundations of data science for more than 100 years. In the first half of the 20th century, intellectual giants were struggling with how to rigorously formulate some of the central concepts in data science. Ideas like algorithms and probability and inference and uncertainty and so on. And those successes led to whole new academic disciplines like computer science and mathematical statistics, which separately focused on different aspects of the processes of going from data to decisions. And now, as data science has become ubiquitous across society, those strands are coming back together, and they're all important in developing the foundations. So it's crucial to consider all of these separate issues together. So specifying inferential goals, developing models for the process that generates the data, designing efficient algorithms, quantifying uncertainty, understanding the impacts of misspecifications, the impacts of malevolent actions, understanding the effects of interactions between a decision maker and its environment, and understanding, of course, all the social and ethical implications of automated decision systems. So we need to draw on the full range of classical academic disciplines, and it's important to engage with the communities involved in the wide range of applications of data science in science and technology and commerce, so that we set the right priorities for our foundational research. So that's the thinking that went into the vision for an institute of this scale and what it needs to address. We see ourselves as bringing together a community to lay the theoretical foundations of data science. And to do that, we have to focus on this full range of issues: modeling issues, inferential issues, computational issues, and societal issues. We see the importance of emphasizing the full variety of interactions between a decision maker and its environment. So not just the classical view of a batch of data or a data stream, but situations with feedback, or sequential decision problems where decisions at one time are going to affect later outcomes, situations where we need to prod a system to experiment to understand causal relationships, situations where we need to be strategic because there are other agents present that have their own goals. We need to draw on multiple disciplines, bring all these disciplines back together, and we need people with expertise across disciplinary boundaries. We want to be sure, as I mentioned, that our foundational research is focused on the most important directions, and we need to rethink data science education and human resource development to produce a diverse cohort of future data science leaders. And we want to create a national resource to serve the broader data science foundational research community. So that's what FODSI is about, building a transdisciplinary research community in the foundations of data science. So there's been a long history of bridging these data science disciplines at the various participating institutions. Here at Berkeley, we've had close ties between statistics and EECS over the last 25 years, with lots of joint appointments, cross-listed graduate classes, and all sorts of things like that, close cooperation between those two departments. MIT's research lab structures long emphasized transdisciplinary research, so involving faculty from CS and math in CSAIL, for instance, and econ and stat in LIDS, and more recently this Statistics and Data Science Center. And recently, in both of those institutions, there have been major institutional changes in the data science direction. So Berkeley created CDSS, led by Jennifer Chase, who's part of this institute, and MIT created the College of Computing, which includes the parallel entities in computer science, in statistics, and in data science in society. So this institute came out of 2 NSF-funded centers at Berkeley and at MIT. At Berkeley, the Foundations of Data Analysis Institute, FODA, led by Michael Mahoney, was the seed for the considerably expanded FODSI team that's illustrated on this colorful wheel here. The colors represent the 5 different disciplines of mathematics, statistics, theoretical computer science, electrical engineering, and economics. FODA had some great outcomes in terms of research advances, a postdoc model that's emphasized collaborations, and a model that we're aiming to scale up in FODSI, and I'm going to say a little bit more about that later. Piotr will also. A Simons Institute program on the foundations of data science. The FODA Institute also witnessed the development and scaling up of Berkeley's pioneering undergraduate data science curriculum. So lots of exciting things came out of that. Tripods, NSF funded through the Tripods Program Institute at Berkeley. This is the FODSI team in the Boston area, which grew out of MyFODS, the MIT Institute for Foundations of Data Science. And that's also seen some great outcomes in research. I guess I should say, we're going to hear about some of the FODSI research themes that came out of these earlier institutes on things like optimization meets sampling, on sublinear algorithms, on machine learning for algorithms, on causal inference. So we'll hear a bunch about those themes later on. So MyFODS also organized a series of thematic workshops that were a big success. They organized an overlay seminar series, and there were a couple of new graduate programs launched in data science areas. So as well as the MIT group, the FODSI team in the Boston area includes senior personnel from Boston University, from Harvard, and Northeastern, who are heavily involved in those MyFODS activities. And then a big thank you, I guess, to the NSF for funding FODSI through its Phase 2 Tripods program. Tripods is a great acronym, Transdisciplinary Research in Principles of Data Science. And NSF awarded us $12.5 million over 5 years, and that's what really triggered bringing these 2 teams together. That's supporting FODSI. We brought these 5 institutions that I mentioned together, plus there's also Chunmei Liu from Howard University and Deepak Kumar from Bryn Mawr College, whose pictures are in this pinwheel somewhere. And they're bringing expertise in data science education and are going to help in broadening participation in our activities. All right, and we have a set of industrial partners also, Verizon Media, Google Research, Microsoft Research, Amazon, and LinkedIn, plus scientific partners at MIT and Berkeley. And we're looking forward to these collaborators helping us, for instance, by getting involved in the application domain segments that we're planning for our workshops. We're also looking forward to a stream of institute personnel interacting with our partners through the postdoc mentoring program. We'll say a little about that. The idea there is to have subsequent positions at an industrial partner as one option, and through things like summer internships for grad students. So I mentioned at the start the big role of the Simons Institute. So as I say, that's hugely important for us and for our activities. Okay, so that's what FODSI is aiming to do, to lay the theoretical foundations for the field of data science, to serve as a national resource, a nexus for research and education in data science by hosting public activities like research workshops and summer schools, to educate and mentor future leaders in data science, to broaden participation and enhance diversity in the data science workforce, to engage with industrial and scientific partners so that our research is grounded in real problems. That's what we're about. Piotr is going to tell us now about the research themes and activities. So I'll hand over to him. You're on mute, Piotr. You are still muted, Piotr.
I can. What about now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. All right. And that should do it. All right. So thanks again, Peter. So in the next few slides, I will outline our plans how to implement the FODSI mission. So I will start from the foundational topics that we are planning to pursue. And on a high level, our proposal covers 8 themes that we believe can have significant impact over the next 5 years, which is the duration of FODSI. And each of these themes lies at the intersection of at least 2, and often all 3 tripos disciplines, the statistics, mathematics, and theoretical computer science. And on the high level, our themes can be classified into 2 categories. The first category, which is depicted here, studies various forms of interactions between decision makers and their environment. So in particular, we'll study economics and learning, namely strategic interactions, as studied in economics. And here we'll investigate situations where strategic agents interact with the other agents that use machine learning or statistical inference, and we'll develop theories that combine the 2 perspectives. We also study networks and graphical models, which model pairwise and more general combinatorial interactions. And in this theme, we'll study models, for example, graphons, as well as algorithms for those models and their limitations. We'll also study experimental interactions, where agents interact with the world, trying to discover and validate what-if causal inferences. And this topic is of crucial importance in healthcare, for example, when trying to understand treatment efficacy. And we'll also study sequential interactions with feedback in the form of reinforcement learning and sequential design. And this area has exploded in popularity over the last few years, but it's still not fully understood theoretically. So these perspectives provide the complementary viewpoints through which we aim to understand how intelligent agents can interact with the outside world. And we believe that these topics are of crucial importance because systems based on machine learning and statistical inference are now deployed in many real-world scenarios. And therefore, it's important to study them in that context as opposed to just in isolation. And also, there are natural connections between these themes, right? For example, reinforcement learning is naturally connected to causality, causality with graphical models, and so on, right? So we'll investigate those connections as well. Now, the second category covers 4 key foundational themes. And specifically, we'll study the following, right? We'll study sampling and optimization through geometric lens, especially using optimal transport theory, data processing at scale, which covers developing algorithms whose space, time, communication, or sampling complexity is small, sublinear in the data size. And here we'll study topics such as clustering, numerical linear algebra, statistical estimation, and other problems. The third topic is computational complexity of classic statistical problems like estimation, robustness, tolerance, and so on. And here we investigate not only algorithms, but also theories that are enabled to show computational limitations on those questions. And again, there has been plenty of activity in this field over the last few years, but the overarching complexity theory for statistical questions is still to be developed. And finally, we'll also study how to design algorithms that use machine learning and statistical inference in order to improve their performance. This is also a very recent popular area whose theoretical foundations are still lacking. Now, for each of the themes, we have identified the theme, broad objectives, example questions that we'll pursue, as well as the set of industrial or scientific partners that will help us keep our activities connected to applications. Now, I will not cover all of these themes in detail because that's the focus of the next few hours. Okay, so but you'll see the slides returning in the talks later on. Instead, let me move on to describe the activities through which we plan to actually accomplish all of this. And the basic idea of this project is that the research will revolve around those themes, and we'll work on all of these themes in parallel throughout the duration of the project. However, each theme will be given an extra push during specific semesters, during which we'll organize various activities to further stimulate research on those topics. And the specific activities that we envisioned are as follows. So first of all, we'll organize the workshops, quite a few workshops, at least 3 workshops per year, sometimes more. Each workshop will be dedicated to one of the themes that I mentioned earlier. A segment of those workshops will be structured as a special semester at the Simons Institute, which will also include a boot camp and other activities. And the general idea of the workshop is that they will cover recent state-of-the-art developments, as well as talks on connections to domain areas, which are facilitated by our industrial and scientific partners. Now, the workshops will be complemented with an annual summer school covering foundations of data science. And unlike workshops, which will change from semester to semester, we envision that the material in summer schools to be relatively stable. The idea is to cover foundations of data science that any advanced undergrad or grad students needs to know in order to start research in this area. Ultimately, we plan to turn the material developed in those schools into course modules. Now, all of these activities involve in-person interactions, and clearly it's not happening during the pandemic. So because of that, we'll need to make some adjustments that I can describe at the end during the question parts. In addition, we'll have a few activities that are entirely virtual. So in particular, we'll expand the overlay seminar to all 5 participating institutions. So overlay seminar was an initiative started at MyFODS in phase 1 TriFODS project. And here, the idea is that during each semester, we select and record talks relevant to the current theme and post them on the dedicated YouTube channel. And we already added a few such talks over the last few weeks, and we'll keep adding them as more talks arrive. Furthermore, in order to maintain the rhythm of collaboration, we will organize weekly webinars. The talks will be typically given by FODSI members, but I will also have occasional invited speakers as well. And I should emphasize that the vast majority of these activities will be public, with outcomes posted and online and accessible to all. And in addition, we also have a couple of housekeeping events. Again, these are planned to be in-person events, which are, mostly not be happening during the pandemic. So, we'll mostly have to wait until COVID is over. Now, in terms of human resources development, our activities will involve postdocs, grad students, and the undergrads. For postdocs, we'll have a yearly application process with a single application, but multiple options tailored to preferred career path of the applicants. And the options are as follows. The first option is something that we call the 1+1. So here the postdoc spent 1 year at one university and then moves to another for the second year. So this is tailored to postdocs who are mobile, and these postdocs will also become conduits for collaborations between 2 institutions. The second option, is a home base. Here a postdoc mostly stays at the single institution, but uses workshops and the other events to visit other places to start collaborations and continue online later. And the final option is 1+other. So here the postdoc spends 1 year at one of the universities and then continue in one of the participating industrial partners. And this is tailored to more application-minded applicants who envision careers, for example, in industrial research labs. And we have a call for our postdocs, which Piotr will mention at the end. So we are already hiring, starting from right now. And I should mention, in addition to postdocs, we'll have various plans for students, both the graduate students and undergrads. Students will collaborate with PIs, postdocs, and visitors, and will be involved in mentoring and research collaboration. Now, in order to broaden participation, we'll have initiatives on a multiple level of the whole pipeline, ranging from high school students to postdocs. At the high school level, we'll create and disseminate data science modules for APCS principles, high school course, which is Berkeley's flagship diversity outreach effort. And this effort will be led by Josh Hack, who developed intro courses to data science at Berkeley. At an undergraduate level, one of our summer schools will be organized in Bryn Mawr. So we hope that this will stimulate interest in our foundation of data science among the students in there. And furthermore, we'll leverage our collaboration with Bryn Mawr and Howard to select and recruit students from those schools to attend other FODSI events. And we'll also have a few initiatives to increase the attendance of women and minorities at the FODSI events and data science event in general. So finally, we have several initiatives of education. I covered most of them earlier. One that was not covered is focused on the undergraduate level, where we'll further develop undergrad data science courses. So for example, we'll further develop DS-102, which is a foundation of data science course whose topics are closely related to interactions between decision maker and the environment, which is also one of the main themes of our project. And I will hand it back to Peter.
Great. Thanks, Piotr. So let me, I guess, give a couple of highlights about how FODSI is managed. So we have a steering committee, as well as Piotr and me. There's Mike Jordan, Ronit Rubenfeld, Philippe Rigolet, and Ben Yu. Actually, they're all speaking today on the research themes that they're also leading. So this group meets monthly and has strategic oversight of all the activities of the Institute. A big thank you to the steering committee members for all their efforts. We also have an external advisory board with distinguished representatives of the various disciplines from around the world. And the plan is for this board to meet every 6 months to review how FODSI is progressing and advise on the prioritization of our scientific activities. We mentioned earlier, we'd like to see FODSI emerge as a national resource, an institute that sets up the infrastructure to bring together a transdisciplinary research community to lay the foundations of data science. Piotr told us about a lot of those planned activities that'll benefit the broader research community, things like workshops, summer schools, collaborative research programs, and so on. It's worth highlighting the scale of this aspect and the level of outside involvement. So, we anticipate producing videos from something like 500 hours of high quality talks throughout the period of the Institute, involving something of the order of 1,500 researchers in our activities over that 5 years. So it's really substantial. So, we'd like to see FODSI as much more than just the currently 47 researchers at these 7 universities and their groups. And, of course, the exciting research that it'll allow us to do, and the diverse cohort of future research leaders we're hoping to train. These are all great, but we're also hoping to play a part in mobilizing a bigger research community across this range of disciplines, with this kind of grand goal of redefining the foundations of data science. So we're really hoping to see the broader research community get involved in our activities. If you have ideas about that or questions, we'd really love to chat. Okay, and we also wanted to say, I guess I'm going to use this soapbox to flag that we're looking for postdocs, as Piotr said. These positions are across a range of locations with opportunities for working with multiple mentors on the topics that you're going to hear about in the schedule today. So feel free to get in contact with us about these. There's this website FODSI.us. It's a work in progress. There'll be details posted there about the ad sometime later today. So if it's not already there, please do go back and look. And we're looking forward to the rest of the program, which is really focused on the science. That was the spiel. From now on, it's the research part of things. We've got a bunch of talks by research theme leaders across the 8 FODSI research themes. And let me stop sharing. We have time for questions if anybody has questions before we go to a break. And the break is, in tune with the theme of getting people collaborating. We have a 30-minute break now that's going to be on GatherTown. So those details of GatherTown will be, well, there you go. The link is in the chat. Before we go to that, if you do have questions, you're welcome to post those in the Q&A, or if you're in this set of panelists, you can just speak up. And if not, we can go chat in GatherTown. So if you just go into the chat there, there's a link, and we'll call you back from in there. This will actually be open for the rest of the day today, if you want to hang out with people there. But we'll be announcing the starts of talks. Oh, we do have a question.
We do have a question.
Are today's talks being recorded, and will they be available later? So thanks, Anselm. Yes, they will be available later. Actually, they're being live streamed on YouTube. You can also watch there, and they'll be available on YouTube essentially from when they're finished. All right. So we'll see you in GatherTown. Well, Piotr, did you have something to add?
No, I was thinking, maybe we can wait like 30 seconds just in case somebody has any questions.
Sure.
I think going once, going twice. Okay, I don't think there are any questions, so we can just go gather.
Sounds good.